he had a Skarner that he's been bringing out for a while that's gained a bit of popularity. But I definitely think there's more untapped potential. And if you're going to lean into it, this may be the game in match 67.
What was that, Aux? What?
Huh?
What?
Oh, I was just reading
Which match is it?
I was just reading the match number. It's there on the screen.
What does it say? 6-7. Huh. Interesting.
Not sure what you're hinting at.
Rip good luck, Lunel. We are getting ready for this first game, and very much interested to see what does come out here. I do think we're going to see some new stuff. I don't think it's going to be of the Zyra mid variety like we saw at a Showmaker, but maybe some cool new picks.
Yeah, Rumble still open and available. We'll see if they opt to ban it. There's been occasional times teams are letting it go open, trying to deal with it, and they ban Keria's Bard instead, which, I mean, is a great ban, but does leave the Rumble available for Doran to pick here. But they go for the Ashe instead. So passing it over to Gen.G, the opportunity to pick up the Rumble. Ashe secured. Seraphine going to likely be on the cards. And we can potentially have Ashe, Seraphine, Zhao, which is a really strong trio together for T1 if Gen.G allow them to get it.
Yeah, I think not the easiest rotation here for Gen.G, but they're going to pick Ezreal.
Ezreal, Seraphine. Yeah, so denying the Seraphine away, so no Ashe Seraphine going to come through. Ezreal, Seraphine, not as much synergy as Ashe Seraphine, but a combo we've seen a couple of times.
What about Rumble?
I think here we'll probably get the Ashe, Zhao, Lulu then. We often see Ashe, Lulu instead, and Lulu, Zhao has been a combo forever since we had Lulu mid.
I mean, that's definitely a good combo. What about Rumble?
Yeah, I think it's one of these situations where they're putting a lot of emphasis on the bot lane. And I feel like you kind of have to secure the Ashe's pairing if you want to hear it now. So maybe Gen.G take Rumble on 3. Or they could end up going in a different direction. Trundle as an option to Zhao. We know Canyon has really liked his Skarner. It does feel weird. Sometimes we get that when the power pick's left open. And it kind of feels like it's a trap being baited. And both teams are like, you know what? We'll just leave it for now. We'll get it in the second rotation.
Keria was smiling and smirking, thought maybe he was going to do something interesting, but it's just Ashe Lulu, as you did expect to see here, Aux. And now,
do we get the Rumble? Do we prio jungle? Is kind of the question here. And they will just go for the Rumble. And this feels especially dangerous because now you can pick the Rumble and ban away any picks that you were worried about taking it into, which, if we're being real, is not many. A lot of the picks into Rumble do neutralize, but we did recently have, it was actually T1 who left the Rumble open, and they had Doran play Yorick into it to great effect.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they want to deal with that. But for now, actually banning away some of the picks that give Ryze a hard time. So maybe T1 end up banning Ryze as a result. Cassiopeia has kind of been stronger in her own right just because of the Deathfire touch. So we have definitely seen her show up more and more by herself, irrespective of the matchup.
Yeah, something that Chovy has played to great effect, and kind of interesting to see him ban it here, but obviously they don't want to give it over to T1. It does look like, as Trundle going to be banned, a very common answer into the Zhao.
Yeah. There's still a lot of junglers available for Canyon. His Skarner that we talked about, the Pantheon, the Vi, the Nocturne, all options. Interestingly, they banned Cassiopeia then Ryze, so just kind of respecting the Cassiopeia itself, not necessarily using it to set up the Ryze.
Just Deathfire touch things, I guess.
Yeah, both of those champions abusing that rune and getting some good value. I do think Cassiopeia a good amount better with it. But we've seen Ryze rise up since that rune was introduced. And here, do we just throw another ban towards the jungle? Yeah, Vi going to come out. So, as I said, still options for Canyon, but just kind of trimming the pool a little bit. The Vi obviously not fun to deal with when you're playing in a mobile AD carry.
Yeah. Great with the Rumble. Now we do have to see what the jungle is going to be.
The Skarner Rumble combo is so, you hold them over the barbecue.
Yeah.
It's such a fun combo.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, and this pick's been kind of seeing more popularity from other players, but originally it was Canyon only playing it, and he was having great success on it. So we'll pick that one up. And now for T1, do we take a tank into the Rumble? Do we take, the Yorick that we saw Doran play before? Looks like he's going to go for that Yorick again. And looking at the TF for Faker, I do feel you feel pretty good about this because the Cassiopeia is gone, who can be a really tough matchup for Twisted Fate. The Rise is gone, who can obviously match that roaming as well. And you're able to have that sort of map-wide impact. Now, what will Chovy play into it is the question.
We have a bunch of top laners hovered, and it's going to be Renekton.
So I think what they're doing is they're putting Rumble mid and putting Renekton into Yorick. When Yorick was really popular, Renekton was the pick that you played into it. We've only really seen Yorick into Jace recently for the most part. But I actually remember it was Doran into Perfect at Road to MSI last year, and Doran absolutely slammed him with the Renekton. Like, it was brutal. It's when we got the whole Kruglord thing coming in, because Doran had the series of his life, plural, and Kiin is wanting to put the hit down onto Doran. So this is a really cool flex coming out from Gen.G. Chovy, we've always talked about him as the mid laner who could just play top lane. So many times he's brought out picks in the mid lane that are top laners, the Cassante, the Set. So bringing out the Rumble here is a lot of skirmishing power into the TF, but also allows his flex to happen and puts a lot of pressure onto Doran in the top lane.
Yeah, it definitely does. I feel like in terms of individual picks, we don't get anything crazy, but a lot of draft shenanigans already. The steal away of the Seraphine, Ezreal Seraphine being played, and then, of course, the big one with the Rumble going into the mid lane and the Renekton final pick here for Kiin, as it was actually counter pick being held for him into the Yorick, kind of baiting out the Yorick pick. As it looks like we're ready to go, as we're going to hop on the Rift for Saturday Showdown, game number 1. Here we go, match 6-7, game number 1. As we are getting into it, Saturday Showdown. And Chovy has gone Ghost in the mid lane.
Honestly, there's a lot of threat. With the Rumble, with Ghost, and Death via Touch, I don't think this is an easy lane for the TF, to be honest. I have to be a little bit cautious. Rumble is just one of those obnoxious lane bullies. And even if the TF outranges him, he can kind of just get up in your face. Is a shorter lane, though, of course. Not as much space to run you down. I think bot lane's going to be interesting as well. The Seraphine has more poke than the Lulu, so there's going to be a good amount of pressure there. And the Ezreal, if you're hitting your skills, a lot of poke. We've seen the Ezreal having great success recently, especially around the level 1. You can see already Willa and Duro have the push in the lane. But I think you can't fully disrespect the Ashe Lulu. If you overstep, there's a lot of sustained damage. See, Faker has the mid lane pressure for now. Level 3 where the Rumble really starts to come online.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying for TF into Rumble, where it's like you can drop a gold card, but the Flame Spitter can still be channeling. So depending on how much range you have on him, how much distance you have away from the Rumble, could definitely change the way the trades do play out. Early on, it's range versus melee, but Rumble generally does pretty well. Unless it's something like an Aurora, which we have seen in the top lane as a counter in the past.
Yeah, also just the Rumble, you can kind of just shield every stun card that's thrown at you and block that burst damage from the TF. And the TF, it's hard to force extended trades because the Rumble has so much damage in those. You can see Canyon 3-0 on the Skarner, so even though we've seen other players pick it and it has actually lost games in the LCK, he is still undefeated on that pick. So
Oner.
Oner 8-0. It's kind of crazy.
He is the Zhao player.
Yeah, especially given that this is a great composition for Zhao in terms of what T1 has. You have the Lulu to back him up. You have the engage from the Ashe and the TF. A lot of setup. Because I think one thing the Zhao can struggle with, he's not the... Oh,
we got a TP coming in. This is going to take quite a while. as they are slowing down Ruler basically forever. He is going to flash away, but Keria has other things in mind as he flashes forward, and that's first blood already for Peyz. We got a 2v2 in the T1 jungle as Chovy's getting in there as he's overheated, but he's still going to be able to set up the play as Canyon over the wall, and Peyz gonna do enough damage, but immediately he falls as Chovy really kind of unchecked in this fight, it does look like, as eventually he does get polymorphed, but again, the TF just doesn't have the damage to cut through the shields as Chovy will stand at the end.
Does end up being Gen.G who found the advantage overall. It was really close, a pretty hectic skirmish coming through, but I think there's so much power from the Skarner and the Rumble. These two champions just have insane base damages. So what happens here is the TP comes in, and Duro and Ruler know they have to get out. They put some damage back into Peyz, but they can't stick around, and they just get run down by the slows. But meanwhile, on this top side, Canyon slides through the wall to get CC on Oner, and the base damages of the Rumble and the Skarner are just kind of absurd. So Oner gets bursted through, Faker's trying to kite away, they do get the backup, and Peyz barrier keeps them alive for long enough so they can turn the kill around. But this Rumble is still such a problem here, and as more and more members fall and there's less and less damage available, Chovy just keeps rotating the scrap shield and still has so much sustained damage in these fights. So it's a slight edge to Gen.G. I also think we have to kind of look at where the gold has gone, because although there was like kills for Canyon and Chovy, which is great, Peyz managed to get a lead over Ruler thanks to the kill he picked up. So a slight advantage for Gen.G overall, but not always evenly distributed.
I feel like also in the 2v2, like if Canyon wasn't there, if it was just a 2v2, we saw Ruler go very aggressively with the shift over the wall, and that's really where his trouble started. I feel like he did it because Canyon was there, so it's kind of hard to take the 2v2 in isolation, but very over-aggressive there as Doran is going to get harassed out quite a bit here, but nice ghoulie wall to keep Kiin in check.
Yeah, it was a good ghoulie wall, and also Kiin dashed kind of towards the wall rather than deeper into the lane. That gave a lot of space for Doran to get away. Doran, that was definitely a window you were under a lot of threat when you didn't have 6, and he did. Oh. Okay, fake is fine. Yeah, one thing as well is Ruler took cleanse, and I feel like this is something I always discuss when you're playing into Ashe. I mean, there's Ashe TF here, but often it's Ashe Seraphine.
Oh, here we go again. Ruler gonna have to shift away. Looks like he is okay.
The cleanse is great value into that CC and will help keep you alive in team fights, but in those little skirmishes there and in lane, not having the barrier just means you have a lot less durability. And if you think if Ruler had the barrier in that last skirmish, could have survived longer, got some more damage back. Peyz was already quite low. But obviously this is going to do him a lot of favors later on, and also puts less emphasis on Duro to pick up a Mikhail's first. Means he can go towards those core items of the Helia and the Diadem that are so powerful now. Gen.G will be able to pick up this first dragon. It is an Ocean. I feel like early Ocean always feels great. Oh,
we got a TF on the way as the stun is going to come in, but he does have flash.
Faker, no
yeah, he is going into this one as the equalizer comes down from Chovy, and Faker will be free food for Kiin. Meanwhile, Chovy looking for more, but the ghoulie
that's a great
perfect.
Yeah, no flash in Chovy, so you can't really circumvent that. Doran mitigating that play quite well, but Faker going very aggressive without the mana or the damage really to back up the play, and very quickly gets punished for it. So we see Kiin's low, and they actually see Faker moving. So Chovy just starts following. Kiin does a good dash there to get away. You see the global miss from Doran gets avoided by the flash, and then Faker's too deep. He even has flash himself, but he's so deep that he knows it's not even worth using. He's just dead. The equalizer was great, the position against the wall, and just a bit of an unforced error from T1 there, but a great answer by Gen.G's mid lane.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried for T1 in this game specifically, because Chovy is going unchecked here on the Rumble. It's another Deathfire Touch champion. It's Chovy playing Rumble. He's got a kill and 2 assists already. He doesn't have a massively, but it's against TF, so, you know, that's to be expected. If you have a lead against TF, you have to like your chances.
It's so crazy that Rumble's just been meta and like super high prow for the longest time. Oh, they are looking for Oner.
And Kenin kind of awkwardly gets over the wall, and he's like, well, I guess I'm going to flash away. Now the arrow comes in, and Chovy is in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have his flash just yet as the blue card comes out, and now the Impale onto 2. Kenin just helping out there a bit as Doran now trying to help out. The Glob goes in, and now Chovy caught in the ghoulie wall, and they dive on a Canyon too. And I suppose I shouldn't have been too worried for T1 as they execute a great play in mid.
Yeah, great setup there, and Doran coming in on the flank really allows them to put the pain in and clean up those kills. We do see plates picked up in the top bot lane by Ruler and Kiin, so there is some cost to this roam down, this move, but a very successful play for T1. Canyon goes over the wall, but doesn't actually commit onto Oner. And then they start backing away. The arrow coming through, I assume there was signaling from the bot lane that, you know, Keria and Peyz are moving, we have to back off. Maybe the top lane as well, and that's why Gen.G didn't want to commit to the play. Then Chovy here, his flash is nearly up, but not quite. The ghoulie wall is such a problem in that situation. And Faker landing the stun card onto Canyon. It's a 5-man play from T1, but it goes off very successfully. And it is able to get them to equalize the game here. Now Canyon's moved straight onto these grubs. And looks like he's able to get these uncontested. Yeah, the thing I was saying before is it's crazy that Rumble was just meta for the longest time, like permaban status.
Yeah.
And then they added a rune that syncs with him so well.
Here we go again. Faker trying to make a play, this time on the bot side. Just going to go for Duro, who doesn't have the cleanse. Faker tanks this one up, allows Oner to get in. As Ruler is going to flash towards Oner. But no aggro here. The equalizer does quite a bit to Oner, as now Ruler going to pick up 2, and Chovy is here. And he is going to have to back away with TP's coming in, but now Doran in a bit of a rough spot as he does flash. He is trying to just shake them off, but I think the damage is just too much, and the rest of T1 being pulled into the fight as well. Peyz desperate for a kill, not going to get it, and Ruler picks up 2 more.
Massive win for Gen.G there. 2k gold lead just off the back of that play, and Ruler monstrously fed as a result of this. This is kind of what we expect from T1 and Faker, roaming, making these plays on the map, making the moves, but Chovy keeps following. Yes, he's further behind. Yes, it's going to take some time, but T1 go for the redive onto Ruler, and this equalizer ends up costing them so much. Connects onto both Oner and Keria, makes it really awkward for them. And notice how he disengages from this, but because the TP from Doran is so deep, Keria and Peyz have to kind of move in to help him. And this Renekton with the ultimate is just such a major threat here. They're trying to burn through him, trying to get the damage down, and Peyz just doesn't quite manage to finish off Kiin there. So close. The cleanup comes in. And, you know, there's a 700 gold lead for Ruler. I will say Peyz has picked up a lot of kills as well, so it's not as big as it could be. But now we have a 1,000 gold lead in the top lane as well. Kiin and Ruler extremely fed off the back of these plays. It's going to be a big problem in the mid game where these champions really spike.
Yeah, I like how you keep mentioning, you know, Chovy on the roam. We've seen so many times against a TF. It's either, okay, I'm going to pick Ryze or Galio or Silas or something to follow the TF in that manner. And if you don't, you're kind of just like, well, he's bot, I'm just going to push mid. But Chovy's like, no, this play is going to extend for quite a while. I will get value eventually. And Rumble has that long-range ult to help out from at least a little bit extra range, and really has been helping out in both of the side lane plays. Now we have the second dragon up. It looks like Gen.G after that play probably just going to look to stack double dragons here. And Ocean into Cloud means that you've got a good chance at a pretty good soul.
Yeah, definitely in this situation, a lot of good options available. Looks like T1 not going to contest this right now as well. Not feeling super strong, and you can kind of get it. You know, Triforce completed for Ruler. I know the Hex Optics is there for Peyz, but I feel like the Ashe does need more items to come online.
Just Hex Sec. Soul.
It's a pretty good soul, especially with this composition, with an Ezreal with all the poke he has, able to land those slows. Faker as well, you know, he's been setting up all these plays, moving around, but 0-stack Dark Seal, just a Catalyst, and the completed boots. He himself doesn't have that much power. It's very much around the setup, and it feels really bad that he's being proactive. Good eye for when to go for these plays, but just the timing is not quite quick enough to pull them off and get away. And Chovy's been there to answer time and time again. This mid lane Rumble working out highest kill participation on the side of Gen.G at 7 out of 9.
And you can see here in the top lane, Kiin's got a level lead. He's got this massive gold lead as well. we know what has happened in the game, but also you do have to go back to the draft with the really nice swap-a-rooney with the Rumble into mid. Doran was very much expecting to play into Rumble in this game. Instead, he has to play against Kiin's gigantic Renekton. So it's not going to be a fun time for the Yorick, especially from behind. So you don't have pressure in that top lane for your Yorick, which was a key part of this composition for T1.
Yeah, T1's composition very much would love to just play, especially further on. Oh, well, it doesn't quite have cleanse.
Yeah, I mean, they're going pretty deep for this one, but he doesn't have flash, doesn't have cleanse, and with 3 members of T1, that's a big shutdown for Peyz.
Look at the cleanse. It's now available. And whenever I see someone dying in a situation like that where the summoners are seconds away, I always think, T1 must have had really clean timers. Throwing the arrow at Ruler just before his cleanse comes available, managed to pick him off, and unfortunately only now has the summoner. So a good pick from them, and another kill for Peyz. Actually puts him ahead in gold off his counterpart.
Yeah, we actually have the exact timer from production. Cleanse was 6 seconds away. So unlucky, I guess, Ruler. But yeah, as you mentioned, really good timers.
I think sometimes, if it was a one-up, if this happens to solo queue, you can like, maybe it was just lucky. But when it happens with pro teams so frequently, and T1 in particular definitely feels calculated, able to find this angle onto Ruler. And it must be frustrating from his point of view. I feel like in that scenario, you do hit the cleanse button, and you're like, man, because it's almost lit up.
Yeah.
But not able to find it there.
Yeah, it's a really nice pick for the side of Peyz just to kind of equalize the gold. And I mean, this Ashe, especially with the Lulu, is going to be very strong in this game. They're going to need him to be strong because he will be a large portion of the damage.
Yeah, and there's a pretty bulky front line from Gen.G. Rumble being an AP bruiser, the Skarner obviously very tanky, the Renekton as well. You're going to need Peyz to shred through them for these team fights to go successfully. That being said, T1, I was kind of talking about before, definitely can play through the side lanes as well, at least was the plan. But I think with Kiin being such a threat, might make things more difficult. You can see right now, it's Faker holding off the Renekton, and it's Yorick into Rumble, which I think are the matchups T1 does feel better about, having that Yorick into the pick they expected to play it into. But for now, we are seeing the Herald being started up, and T1 not looking to contest, and it's Grubs, it's the first 2 Dragons, it's now Herald. Gen.G have just had a complete monopoly on these neutral objectives.
Yeah, like it's not a game-breaking lead that they have, but it's a very comfortable one when they're just able to take everything on the map, and of course the Renekton is very fed. And yeah, just quieting things down. I think we are going to have a fight here for this next Drake. You can see that T1 are already trying to move as 3. It's actually the same 3 that got the kill on a Ruler, so just kind of roaming around the map together and allowing, the Yorick and the TF to play sides. Definitely the way you want to play it here for T1.
I think there's such an easy opportunity for T1's composition to get behind someone like Duro. Duro goes to ward, and you can just appear behind him with the TF, set up with an Ashe arrow. Ruler does have his summoners back, has the cleanse. I mean, everyone has their summoners, apart from Keria's heal and Faker's TP, so I think Duro is a pretty easy target if you can get behind him. But right now, Kiin is on top of Faker, and he's taking a good amount of damage. We'll be able to gold card and walk away, but playing against this Renekton, who's 2 levels up, doesn't feel too fun right now. Gonna go for a reset here.
I don't know if Kiin will be very killable in these fights when it does come down to it. I mean, unless he is really putting his face into it and spends a lot of time with an Ashe.
Ruler just completed his Merman. It's not quite fully stacked. Not sure if he'll be able to get it up in time for the fight, but it's a pretty big 2-item spike.
I feel like as Ezreal, you can see like maybe if you keep this wave around for him and he casts a bunch of abilities and then maybe hit some Qs.
It's more just on the item cooldown. He's still 24 stacks away. Starting up the dragon.
T1 are just bursting this one down, but Canyon is in there, not able to hit the smite. As now Kiin, can you deal with the crocodile? That is what we need to see, as a big equalizer gonna get them along the wall, and the encore is there as well. They take down Doran, and that's going to be what Gen.G get out of this fight, but T1 at least are able to pick up the dragon.
They're looking for more.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one weak turret down on the bottom side of the map. You got to be careful about diving into a TF though, but Faker already going to take a bit of damage. Flash comes in, there's the stun, as Kiin also getting ahead of himself, but that's Chovy now in the back line, nobody to answer him, but Peyz does take him down this time. Not exactly the cleanest, but they do get it done in the end. 2 more kills for Ruler on the board.
Gen.G could have easily walked towards mid lane. They had the path to get over there without T1 being able to cut them off. They could have just taken mid tower, but they saw blood in the water and opt to go for the cleanup instead. We see T1 have control. They want to force this immediately and manage to secure the dragon. But then Kiin comes in, disengage from Oner's really nice to get the Renekton out. This equalizer into the Encore does so much work, and honestly, if not for some good flashes from T1, it could have been absolutely devastating for them. But then here, Gen.G opt to continue. Instead of moving towards mid, taking that tower for free, they go for the play here. And we see Kiin very aggressively putting forward, sacrificing himself. The rest of T1 move to respond, and then Canyon slides in. It gets a bit messy here because Oner gets a lot of healing that keeps him alive long enough to take down Duro. But Ruler's basically untouched and just pumping out damage throughout this fight. He's now hit that 2-item spike with a completely stacked Manamune in 6, 2, and 4. I mean, both AD carries with a lot of gold right now.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Peyz. He was desperately trying to pump out the damage underneath the turret, and they're basically on the same amount of damage dealt to champions, the 2 AD carries, and a lot does hinge on especially the T1 AD carry to output that damage.
You know what's crazy is that we went into last fight with all flashes up, and we come out of it with every single flash burn apart from Doran in that passage of play. Yeah. So both teams throwing everything at that to try and navigate their way through it. It's Gen.G with a gold lead. Yes, T1 stopped them from getting that dragon, stopped the dragon stacking towards the soul. But Gen.G feels like they really have the pressure right now, and a lot of their champions spiking super hard right now.
I mean, Faker is not even up in the lane. He's just kind of near his turret, but still the Skarner power shown here by Canyon. Able to get over the wall, and it's not much that Faker can do. Yeah,
one of the big strengths of the Skarner is being able to circumvent that terrain and just end up coming from behind the Twisted Fate. He'd already used the stun card onto the Rumble. Didn't have any way of preventing Canyon from getting onto him. And it's just more gold into the pockets of Gen.G. Should be able to pick up this tower as well if they want it. It looks like Chovy's just going for the recall.
Yeah, it appears as if they don't want to at this point in time. We do have a Mortal Reminder third here, actually already completed for Peyz. Definitely going to be key into Seraphine, but also into Renekton.
Skarner as well.
Even Skarner, yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely the right item.
A lot more Mortal Reminder than LDR recently. There is a decent amount of healing going around. They're obviously missing out on that extra damage amp for some of these tankier targets. Yeah, a minute 30 till Dragon. Honestly, feels like we just had that last Dragon fight, but we're going right back into it. Those flashes will be coming up for that.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like deja vu, especially with Ruler backing. He might be able to pick up an item here with those 2 components. As yeah, Spirit Shojin, that's going to be his third item, as the AD carries on the item parity in terms of amounts. Right before this Dragon fight, just a minute to go.
We saw the team fighting power of Gen.G's composition with the Equalizer, with the Encore, what that can do to T1. I think T1, it's very much around playing around like the stun card, the polymorph, dealing with threats who move in. But it can be hard when there's just so many of these threats looking towards you. Right now, this time, it's Gen.G who have more setup in the area. You can see the vision they've got. We have some shallow control wards in their own jungle from T1. If they want to contest this, they need to push in. And Oner's only making his way over now, just finished his second item. We can see, though, Canyon on 3 items. And I know his items are cheaper. He has the Protoplasm and the Final Pipes, very cheap items, but definitely feels good to have that lead and be able to just have an entire completed item over your counterpart.
Yeah, also just the randomins into an Ashe feels just pretty much perfect for him in this next fight. And the Dragon has spawns. Again, Gen.G do have full control over this. I suppose there is a world where T1 say, okay, it's not the soul, we got the one, we delayed it already. So maybe we just give this one away.
It puts so much pressure on the next Dragon, though. And T1 will use this time. They don't want to waste it. They will put some effort towards getting vision around Baron. but not really in a position to start up the Baron. There is Bishop Raj going to come through. There's the Scuttle Crab already cleared in the area. Didn't really have the control to be able to go for that. A drop is taken. That is the trade-off value. I think Gen.G happy to get a dragon for that.
They are going to be hit by this one, as now the harpoons come out, and the damage out of this Rumble is just disgusting. As the flash comes out, and that is an easy solo kill for Chovy in the side lane.
Yeah, and considering T1's composition, definitely feels like the one that wants to play through the sides. You just can't match up as this TF into the likes of the Rumble. That Rocket Belt allowing him to close the gap as well. Solo kill comes through. We kind of talked about the Ghost, you know, not being as relevant in the shorter lane of the mid lane, but in these long, extended lanes with towers down, can just run you out of that mana. Gen.G in a great position right now. 4,000 gold lead, 3 dragons out of 4. Everything kind of seems to be going in their favor.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, you know, with the nice Swamperoonie with the Rumble into the mid lane, is that in the side lanes, you don't really have a good option as T1, as Chovy just rounds the bend. Okay. He says, I'll look for the kill. And we got a fight in live, actually, over the Raptors. Canyon is taking a huge amount of damage from Peyz, even with all of those items, as now the Impale goes on to Oner, and he is isolated from the rest of the team, just taking out Kiin with the flash stun, but that's only going to hit Keria, who is trying to go into the Hex Gate to get away. He's got Chovy right behind him, though, as they're just going to start up the Baron after this pick. I mean, Oner is dead, and eventually Keria also will be dead as Chovy gets another kill, and that should be Baron here for Gen.G.
This was a fight started when Chovy didn't even have Equalizer. They go for the Goddess. Now they're looking to contest. This is very aggressive.
I mean, it's essentially 3v5. You don't really have an angle, and now Chovy's right here. Peyz is alone. There's nobody to help him, and eventually T1 will just scatter and die as Gen.G will pick up the pieces. They also got the Baron. So they get the objective, they get the bonus kills as T1 decide to try to go for the fight, which was quite confusing, and Gen.G will just win off of the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, the initial fight, kind of get, they thought they had a pick opportunity. Chovy didn't have Equalizer. They thought maybe they could find a window there. You can see them setting up in this position onto Canyon, but Canyon's just so tanky. And has the flash to get away. Protoplasm comes through as well. And then this is why I feel like the Skarner does so well into Zhao. Just holds him still. And when he's still stationary, you can just walk inside the Crescent Guard and kill him. There's no real threat from him if you're moving up inside. And then here, this is where I think it went from bad to worse. T1 opt to contest this, but Chovy's position on this flank just means there's no way you're getting out of this. Peyz trying to go for the 1v1 against Ruler, but Canyon up in his face doesn't make it easy. They chase down Faker, they chase down Doran. The Ghoul nearly kills Ruler, but he shifts away. And then here, Doran puts down the Ghoulie wall, and Canyon's like, I'm playing Skarner. I can just walk through it.
Yeah. Skarner getting huge amounts of value, the Rumble getting huge amounts of value. And, I mean, Ruler was kind of the one that was really fed and scary in this game, but, you know, not even really the main character after all of this. Just feels like Gen.G as a team are so far ahead that there has not been a good answer here for T1. And now at this point, I mean, 8,000 gold to lead. You've got the Baron buff here as Gen.G. And it's pretty much clinical from Gen.G once again. This is them back in form. This is what we expected to see right from the beginning of the season.
And one of the big things is, if you want to start a fight, it's probably going to be off the back of a Ashe arrow. Oh, Equalizer comes down.
Yeah, there's the extension as well! As it's able to use the Rumble to get all the way through and take them down.
I mean, that was just beautiful. You know, extending the Encore, hits the targets into the Impale from the Skarner. Gen.G is playing it in phenomenal form right now, looking to end.
And they will do exactly that. Doran is like, well, I thought I was going to play the Yorick into the Rumble and have a good time. He was not able to have a good time in this game. Gen.G stopped them here in game number 1. There were some moments earlier on for T1, but after that, Gen.G in total control to take down the first game of Saturday's Showdown.
Yeah, Gen.G kind of just suffocating T1 out after they got that advantage.